G'day folks, how you going? Welcome back to my channel. I think this one is going to be a real interesting video. A little while ago, a friend of mine, Pat, you might recognise Pat because Pat's been in a couple of my videos, particularly the Norcia one. We'll link up here if you want to have a look at that video. But this is Pat coming in now. He's mucking around with a metal detector, and he came to me with this idea and said he wants to buy one and whether I wanted to do a video on it. Now initially I thought, I don't know if that really fits in with the theme of my my channel. I do travel videos and history and stuff like that. So went on the back burner for a little while, and then a couple of Facebook pages I'm on, people were asking for information on what do people do to make money while they're travelling. I thought about this again and I thought, well, you know, some people do get out there with a metal detector and go prospecting for gold, or on the beach. Beach combing is what it used to be called in the earlier days. I don't know if they still call it that, but so I thought there might be something in this video. And then in the meantime, Pat had organised a shop to come on board and help us out with the video. So we went and done the video, and I tell you, it's come out really well. Really happy about this. So if you've ever had an interest in metal detecting, gold finding, or you're just plain curious, this is the video for you. Now I have to tell you, the product or the shop is not sponsored in this video. It just happens to be the product that this particular shop sells, and it's Australian design, Australian made, so you've got to promote Australian stuff, so we're all for that sort of thing. So if you're the first time here, do us a favour and subscribe down there. I've got about 930 something or other subscribers at the moment, and I'm heading towards that magic 1,000. It's taken me a long time to get there, so help us get there a lot quicker. Subscribe down there, and if you like the video, hit that thumbs up, and if you really don't like the video, hit that thumbs up 3 times to make sure you emphasise the fact that you don't like that video. But anyway, let's get on to it and have a look at what's involved with buying a metal detector. G'day folks, my name's John. I do product reviews and make travel videos from around Western Australia. These aren't just videos of me on holidays, they include useful information that you, the travelling public, might find helpful if you're travelling or thinking of travelling around the great state of WA. So subscribe and join me as we see where we're off to today.
How we going?
Yeah, good.
I'd like to buy a metal detector, please.
So, gold in the gold fields or more?
Treasure hunting.
Treasure hunting, yep. We've got the full treasure hunting selection here, so I'll take you through so you can see the different styles of treasure hunting and the different price range, so
please.
We'll go through all of that for you.
Thank you.
So, was there any sort of particular metal detecting, treasure hunting that you're hoping to get into?
Coins and relics.
Coins and relics, yeah. So, were you looking to just go beach sort of side of things, or were you hoping to go inland in any way?
Bit of both.
Bit of both, good. So, the selection, there's quite a lot that's going to be able to cover both, and sort of water, going to the water, beaches, and going inland. I'll be able to take you through those, and I'll be able to let you know that range. So we've got some of the detectors which are basically for underwater only. There are other detectors which are really not that waterproof. The coils can go into the water, but the detector themselves can't go under the water. We've also got a lot of the settings in the detectors, they will struggle really in a lot of the iron-rich ground conditions that we have inland in the gold fields. So even though may not be looking for gold in the gold fields, the soil that the detectors have to look through, if it's really iron rich, there's some of those that will really struggle. So most of this range will be more limiting. It'll just be parks and sort of the dry beaches. It's when you get into the Equinox 700, 800, 900, and there's also what we call the Manticore. These detectors, not only are they waterproof, you can go into the surf, so you can really start to find all of that lost jewellery which has just fallen off everybody's fingers in the surf. They're the best detectors for out of the water as well, so on land. And this range from about, from the Equinox sort of upwards, these detectors have the settings that then when you go inland, will be able to cope with all the iron-rich ground conditions. Because with all the detectors, the really important thing to understand is you're not really trying to tell it what you want to find. The detector is running all the frequencies. It's basically anything in the ground it's going to find. You've got to be able to let it know what dirt it's got to look through. And really salty dirt, really iron-rich dirt. Was the big sort of technology jump that's happened. And they all start around about the Equinox range up to the Manticore range.
What's the difference between the low-end range budget and the high-end range budget?
Yeah, so look, they're all good. You're not going to get good quality technology and poor quality technology, but the main difference is the first one that came out that really changed the landscape for metal detecting was the Equinox 800. So it's sort of in the low, bit over $1,000. It's got all of the features that enable it to go to the beaches and inland. Recently though, it's had a great revamp and almost a, not a reboot, but an upgrade. So the Equinox 900 model has come out since the end of last year. Still got all of those great features, but it's a lot more sensitive. And two big differences is that now the sensitivity of it is nearly tripled. So the difference between finding when you're getting a coins and relics, or if it's a metal bottle cap, a lot less overlap and a lot more clarity on which bits are good stuff, which bits are the relics, and which items are the rubbish. So great more separation there. The big advantage of the Equinox 900 is it actually comes with the two main size coils. So the coils on the end of the detector are really important. When we get the larger, the standard's usually about 11 inches in diameter. Great all-rounder, beaches, parks, all the coin and relic. When you go inland, still fantastic for finding coin and relics in the iron-rich ground conditions. But it comes with another 6-inch, so it feels like a really, really small coil. But they've got a great advantage for what we say high trash areas. So if you've got a lot of metal in the ground, a coil, a smaller physical coil, is literally going to be able to go in between all those metal objects and find all of the good relic items in between them. So having those two coils is a huge advantage. It's basically the entire kit ready to go. So that's just a little bit over sort of the $1,500 range. And then at the same time, the big brother of all of the treasure hunting devices was released, and that's the Manticore. The Manticore was when Minelab really notched it up. So it's got all the same features of the Equinox 900. It's got all the great classification between separation of all of these different relics that come up with different numbers. But it has got now a two-dimensional identification panel. When you are finding coins versus bottle cups, the separation in 2 dimensions, it just makes all of the good items really well defined and all the rubbish separated completely out. So you'll almost never be digging rubbish when you start to use the Manticore's new technology. It's just a price tag, so that's closer to the $2,500 range. But the technology is now leagues and leaps and bounds ahead of everything else that's been available. The Equinox 900 still exactly that same sort of level, it just doesn't have that 2-dimension identification panel on it, which is just a huge advantage of the Manticore.
So if the Manticore's got the latest technology, how long before that technology is outdated?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, the thing that's been quite amazing the last just few years is this technology almost didn't change for nearly 40 years. It was just modern upgrades to it. But it's only the last basically 4 years that Minelab's brought out their multi-IQ technology, which changed everything. That's when the Equinox sort of went in leaps and bounds. Now they've brought out a 2D identification panel with this maps out where, you know, the the relics that you want to find compared to the bottle caps that you want to avoid and not even bother digging. It is so far ahead of what we ever would have anticipated that we're in almost awe of the technology leaps and bounds, and I think this technology, considering it took 40 years to get to here, is certainly a safe technology for a very long time. Hopefully they'll keep improving it, and we'll always have better coils that will come out for it, but the technology itself has been the big jump for a very, very long time, probably 30 to 40 years, so I think the investment's pretty safe.
So what accessories can I get with Manticore?
Well, the good thing about it is it's pretty much a unit ready to go. You don't need anything else with it. It comes with the Bluetooth headphones. It's got the best all-round 11-inch coil. It is ready to go. You will be able to take it to the beach, in the water, out of the water, take it to the Goldfields, Coin and Relic. The big thing that will happen that does with all of these detectors is as time goes on, they will release more different coil sizes. So we always look forward to the much bigger. They sometimes come out with 15-inch and 14-inch circular coils, and they cover much larger areas and go a lot deeper. Great for finding there's always the next layer. The Manticore has the power to really get into the current layer, and it'll beat whatever's been there before, but even going deep is going to be much, much better. The smaller coils coming out, there's definitely an 8.5-inch and by 5.5-inch oval coil. When the smaller coil is on in the Goldfields, it will turn the Manticore into the world's best entry-level gold detector as well. It's going to have a lot of use looking for actual gold nuggets in the Goldfields as well. So not out yet, but they always come out with time. But it will certainly increase the scope and the versatility of the Manticore. But as of today, it's ready to go.
How long does the battery last on the Manticore?
Yeah, so grab it down actually, I'll show you. One of the great things that Minelab have really incorporated into all the modern detectors are the batteries in the handle, and the charger is actually these magnet chargers that has a USB that plugs into any USB port. So the lithium battery in there will run this a full day. Your legs will run out before the battery runs out. I have never done a full day's detecting and had to recharge in a day. So it's probably 10 to 12 hours of non-stop detecting. The charge time to charge up with that is incredibly fast. You know, just like your mobile phones, these magnet chargers will charge it up even through cigarette lighter with USBs and cigarette lighters off power points. Really easy, user-friendly technology, powering behind all the technology, but the lithium battery technology has really gone in leaps and bounds, and Minelab have been fantastic at incorporating, you know, whatever they can find in the latest technology to have that in their detectors. So batteries has been a big jump in terms of the performance.
How easy is it to learn to use that?
Look, Minelab have an online manual for every detector, obviously, but the big thing is what we make sure before you leave here, we actually train you one-on-one. We take you through all of those settings, and we translate what might be a wonderful manual for people that already know how to use it to just real life language. The big goal is, look, a lot of the settings of this are automatic already. Most of it you may never want to change, you may never need to use. All the advanced settings are in there, but what we do is we've even got a cheat sheet. We've got a little A4, double-sided. It's got all the essential. You're allowed to forget everything we say. You're going to have everything in your hand when you leave, but we've taken you through it. We get you to understand what those settings are doing, and then you start using them from day one. In terms of being able to interpret what the numbers and the 2D chart, we actually walk you through all of that as well. We want you walking out ready to go with this, and then the more you use it, the better you get at it, but you understand it, you know what it's saying, you're ready to use it, you're ready to just basically just start getting better. You're not having to figure anything out yourself. You've got enough, and with the sort of the automatic preset modes on this, which is all of them, they're all preset. You never really need to do it. You're just flicking through the different, remember, like the beach areas, the soils, they're all pictures. All the settings are, instead of having a detailed description, it's just a picture of a beach. You load the beach settings, and then how to know whether you've got good targets and bad targets, we take you through all of that. And then you're allowed to come back with time, go out, use it. When you first sort of grab it, you don't know what you don't know. If you go out and use it, you can start to be unsure of what some of the settings are doing, and come back and ask us, ring us up. Once we know how long you've had it, when you've used it, we can help you really, really easy. It's a lot faster to learn this when we can translate what all this stuff does for you, and then you're just kicking off from day one.
What's the difference between the Manticore and the more expensive dedicated gold detectors?
Yeah, so the technology is completely different. So we joke, we say these are the petrol version and the pulse induction are the diesel, version of metal detectors. The gold detectors, they're really for gold in the gold fields. They're great. Pulse induction can really punch through all the iron-rich ground to hit all of those gold nuggets in the really hard ground conditions that metal detectors have always struggled. And that's why gold detectors will always be the preference. However, VLF detectors, especially now the Equinox and the Manticore, when you go to all the old mine workings, which is some of the best gold ground anywhere in the gold fields, the only problem with that is everything in the day was made out of metal. So an old tin can is now rusted into 1,000 pieces of rusted trash. So the pulse inductions will hit every single one of those. It's just too much trash in the ground. We'll walk away. We actually go back to the car, we put our pulse induction detectors away, we go and grab an Equinox or a Manticore now. The Manticores and Equinoxes can actually discriminate out all of that rubbish trash and just leave behind all those other metals. And gold within the Manticore comes at a very well-defined number range, sort of between 5 and 10. When you're getting those numbers, you're almost guaranteed to have a nugget in the gold fields, and all of that metal trash is literally turned off. So nowhere near as much depth with the VLF, with these treasure hunting style ones, but in the past, treasure hunting devices were very erratic, very unstable in the gold field. So now that the Equinoxes and the Manticore have that gold setting, they are a very, very useful entry-level gold detector. Not as deep as the others, but they've got a great role. So we use them all the time and successfully.
What's the minimum amount of gear I need to purchase to be able to use with that?
Well, look, the good thing with these detectors now is they're coming with just about everything you need. With the headphones and the chargers, the whole unit's enclosed. You're ready to go. But what we have done, just to make sure that you're not always buying, we actually have included with all of the treasure hunting detectors now, we include this little kit. The one thing you are absolutely going to need, and it is definitely the minimum, you will never be able to go to the beach without a scoop with holes in it. If you try to scoop and trying to find that coin in the sand is the most frustrating moment. It's just one scoop, you just shake and that's left behind. So that's included with it. A stubby holder had to die for this as well, but it was worth it. So with the handle, it's a comfortable handle, but it is plastic. So this is a nice foamed armrest, and the armrest just goes around the cover and it just sits on your arm. So when you're using this for a while, having the plastic armrest can start to sort of, cut into the skin. So having that nice soft is something else. So we've put that in with it. And of course, we want you to sort of have at least your first digging utensil. And this folds up into 3 small pieces into the pouch. So not only have you got a good little pick to start out when you're in the gold fields, but of course, when you're at the beach and everywhere, and you've got a nice little digging utensil as well. So that's included with all of the purchases. That'll get you going. probably the only really good way to spend your money and the best value for money when you're going coin and relic is buying the handheld pinpointers. When we're digging, we're finding coins in the grass. You know, you get down to that last sort of part, but if the coin's in the side of the hole, you can be looking, and the pinpoint is literally, you turn them on, you put it in the sand or where you're looking, it finds the coin or whatever you're finding in seconds, and you just move on. So that's probably the only other thing that'd be worthwhile you having a look at before you head off.
Can you show me that, please?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Follow me here.
So what's the difference in all these pinpointers?
So just like the metal detectors, the technology behind the pinpointers has really increased over the last few years. There's a good selection of pinpointers that we would say are really dedicated for coin and relic beaches, parks. They will find all the coins, any jewellery that you're going to find. They're going to do a great job. There's also a lot that are really dedicated for the underwater metal detecting, so they're all waterproof. The main thing is, because you're going to go inland, again, it's that iron-rich soil ground conditions. The only real pinpointer in that's sort of on the market at the moment that's going to handle all that ground conditions where you're going to do some of your detecting is the Profine 35 from Minelab. The big difference with this handheld detector, handheld pinpointer, is when you turn it on, you actually stick it into the dirt, it'll ground balance to the soil to make sure that it's not anywhere near as unstable, and it's still going to find all those little bits of jewellery, but also the little nuggets as well. So when you turn it on, you'll hear it do a couple of beeps turning on, and the third one is it calibrating. And the third one, because it was there, was nice and quick. But if you did that on the ground, you turn it on, you'd hear even a pause before the third beep, showing that it was ground balancing, and then it's ready to do it. And then also different tones, so when it's the ferrous and rusty nails, you're digging out, it'll give a real thud, whereas it's got something that's should be a lot better metal, it'll give it the high tone. So the technology, again, is just, they're really making it user-friendly, easy, fully waterproof if you do want to get into the surf. But the Profine 35's the best one for you to be able to then go inland, whether you're coin and relic hunting and even gold hunting. This is probably the most tailor-built technology for where you're going to be using it. I'm going to do all the warranty, everything for you. It's a Minelab's 3-year warranty. We've never had one fail, but if there are any issues in any way, we'll make sure we've got all that and we can help you with any aspect on that. And all the details will be in the system here, so you've got it all digital as well. So don't worry about any of that. That'll all be sorted and taken care of. And first things first, we need to make sure your training's done. We'll get you understanding it, knowing it. You'll be using it on day one and just getting better at it and getting better at understanding which is the trash, but it's going to be a very fast learning curve. They've made it very user friendly.
Yep.
All right, there you go.
Cheers.
All right.
Well, folks, there you go. I hope you've learned something from that. I know I have. And I'd just like to thank Aaron for letting us come down to his shop down here to talk about the different types of detectors and the whole process of it. I had no idea about any of this sort of thing, and I've even learnt something. So, mate, thanks very much for letting us come down here.
No,
you can also come down and have the courses here as well, even if you haven't bought anything from the shop. So you can get on the course. And the good thing here as well, behind me, they've got this little museum, which is all the different types of metal detectors, right back to...
Right from the very beginning.
What year are we talking about?
Wow, I mean, we've actually got them chronologically ordered and listed, so they're 40 years and back. So the original Minelabs and Garrett's and Groundhogs to the more modern. So I've nearly got every single detector from the past, and we've got the entire spread of the age. So this is my one little sneaky joy that I get to do. So most of them we use, we've tested. It's always good to have them.
I'll tell you one you haven't got. Back in the 80s, I bought a metal detector from Tandy's. Who remembers Tandy's? Radio Shack. That was a good little one, but I dodged that. But you haven't got that one up here. So you've got to look for that one.
We had to draw a line. But no, look, the good thing is, because my background, I was an exploration geologist, we've been also able to do the prospecting training courses. So we do the one-day courses, and it's been great that they've been really able to help people now start finding their gold for the first time, being more consistent at finding gold, and combined with that, we do the one-on-one training. All of these detectors we train, so more of the modern ones, but we do one-on-one training. So for those that bought one second-hand, we still want them to know how to use their gear, so they can book in for one-on-one training anytime. And we do the courses every 2 or 3 weeks to try to just, we don't advertise them, they take a lot of effort, but we're always full, but we just do extra courses when we get a bit overbooked. But it's a great way to make sure prospectors are not out there wasting their time or got really good gear. Having good gear and not knowing how to use it would be horrible. So the one-on-one training on the detectors has been a real passion of ours. So we're really glad that we've been able to really start to get into the detail, but make sure people are always enough to get going, use it, enjoy it, and they can always come back. Once they've bought it from here, they've got their training from us for free for life.
Alright, so that's it for this video. So if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up, and if you've been out there prospecting, leave a comment down below. I'll leave some information in the description of how to contact Aaron, or you could go to their website, which is reedsprospecting.com.au. So check them out down there. And this is part 1, and next part we're going to try and see if we can get hold of some people who actually go out gold prospecting and or treasure hunting, and have a chat to them to see about how it has worked for them. But anyway, till next time, happy travels.